Welcome everybody to the Pecino Report Season 21, Episode 23. This is the Manuel and Andra show. So I apologise for our not as exciting intro because Stu's not well today, so he can't join us, but we wanted to make sure that we still bring you something. So we're going to have to get some critique from Stu and some feedback on how we go, Manuel. I think Stu and I recorded once, just the two of us without you, and we felt like naughty children. So I'm keen to see what you and I can get up to today.
Well, luckily, Andra, the first thing is that we want to get well as soon as possible. He has some issues, but Stu is strong. So in our next episode, he will be with us for sure. And regarding what we are going to talk about, we are lucky because they have been so interesting things happening. So it will be so easy.
Absolutely. That race last week was bloody brilliant in Misano. Where do we start?
Look, and I have to tell you that it was a very different race from the previous one. The previous one in Aragon, where we saw an intense fight between Marquez and Bagnaia.
Yes.
Yeah, remember the last day? I think they overtake each other 13 times at that race.
That was very exciting, and
yeah. But it was this weekend. For me, it was as exciting, or even more. And there has been no overtakings, no touching fairings. It has been a race for pure race fans. You understand?
Clean. It was very clean.
And it was kind of, how do you say in English when you
like put the accelerator on, or like
no. It's a duel.
Oh, Joe. Yes.
Yeah.
Like a battle.
Yeah, between two guys who didn't even get close to each other, you know?
Yep.
It was basically a strategic race.
Yes.
And for me, it was so interesting because there was one guy who was being pressured from the guy who was coming from the back. The guy who was coming from the back knew that he would finish second anyhow.
Yep.
But he risked so much to get there.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Yes.
So because look, let's start with the race. So the story of this race for me has been fantastic. We saw on the grid 4 Ducatis in the first position.
Yes.
Only Quartararo managed to get into these 4 Ducatis. Okay, so he knew that the start of the race would be like, okay, I have to, like being in a ring with other 4 guys who want to beat you.
He's really defied that whole the Ducatis are faster and better. He's completely just wiped that out.
Yeah, and the super good thing is that Ducati draw a race plan thinking on the tires. So they used a certain combination of tires, and the Yamaha used the opposite combination of tires.
Yep.
So the Ducati combination helped them to be super fast at the beginning.
Yep. I did notice that. Yep. On the hard and soft, knowing that they'd have to pull away before the Yamaha could get them.
Yes.
Yep.
So they knew that the second part of the race, they would suffer. So they had to make the difference in the first part.
So tell me, Manuel, when we talk about those tires, because I watched the race twice because I'm not busy at work at the moment. I watched it again yesterday. I was trying to work out the difference between whether it was the way that Pecco rode and Jack rode. Obviously, they have the same tire settings or same tires, and Jack was up there for a lot of the race, but he did start to drop back. But he wasn't close enough to be chasing Pecco, so it didn't appear to me like he was trying to ride the wheels off it to go. So was it Jack doing his normal thing, or?
Look, this question is interesting because they started with the same combination, but one did a super race, and Jack was kind of disappointing, right?
Yeah.
So it depends on the set of the bike. It depends how they ride. It depends. For example, Jack had to battle with Fabio at the beginning, while Pecco just rode by himself. So there are
Almost looked like he was wingman for Pecco. He looked like he had formed a bit of a and I know there was no race orders or whatever, but he did seem to build a barrier between the rest of the group and Pecco for that.
Yeah, I may disagree with you because maybe officially there was not race. How do you say race?
Like the team orders.
Team orders, yes, but I really think there were, because look,
it appeared that way.
When the race starts, Pecco just pulls away, right? And then Quartararo had to, I saw it like, you know, a group of wolves attacking someone. Because first he had a strong fight with a very aggressive Jorge Martin.
Oh my God. Yes, of course.
Fabio Quartararo, you know, so he had this issue. Then Martin crashed. And then he had this fight with Jack Miller.
Yep.
Okay. Look, the lap by lap sequence shows something very interesting. When Quartararo finally gets second, it's on lap 14 out of 27. So half of the race was gone.
Yeah.
So it was exactly what Ducati needed, because from that point on, the tires of Quartararo would be more effective, and the tires of Bagnaia would start to drop.
Yes.
So, but they had done the perfect script, you know. The others did, and look, the difference between Bagnaia and Quartararo when he gets second were 2.7 seconds.
Yeah.
The advantage, 2.7. When they crossed the checkered flag, the gap was 0.2.
Oh
so
God.
This shows exactly how the race was, you know. The first part with the tires they choose allowed the Ducati to go away, and then came Quartararo. And after the race, Bagnaia explained that it was super stressful. Every time he entered in the
straight, when they held the board
straight
up
and looked at the board, he saw -3, -4 tenths, you know. So it was like,
oh no,
oh, he's coming. He's coming.
So would they have known the tire settings? I know sometimes they're quite open about their tires. So I keep saying tire settings. They're open about the tires they choose, but sometimes they keep it quiet.
No, all the riders know which
each
because they know. This is open.
Part of that.
So and the interesting thing, look, regarding Pecco Bagnaia, he won 2 races within 7 days, right?
Yeah.
And it was interesting because he has learned. For me, he has learned how to manage 2 different ways of pressure. What we just said at the beginning. One pressure was with Marquez here on his neck, you know.
The actual battle and the fight, or getting out in front, and he was in front the whole race. Exactly. Which I think we've spoken about before. That's an extra lot of pressure, because you're not just, I'm in front, off I go. Your brain's going to be going, and like you said, watching Fabio getting closer each lap, and just,
Yes, exactly. It's what you say. When you are in the middle of a battle with another rider, you don't have time to think. You have just time to react. And papa. But when you are there,
harder.
When you are there, you think, oh, he's coming. Don't crash.
Don't fall off. Stay on. How many laps to go? Absolutely. Yeah. So it's probably better to be in a battle.
And then on the other side, so Pecco showed that he has the famous click in his head when after the first win seems to have happened, you know, because he won a different race with a lot of self-confidence, and very interesting. Look, knowing that Quartararo was so close, the last lap of Bagnaia's race was his 3rd fastest lap of the race. So he gave it all in the last lap. And another interesting thing, you know, the circuit, like all the circuit, they are splitted in 4 splits, no, sector, 4 sector. 4 sectors. So Quartararo was especially fast sector 1 and sector 4. faster than the other one.
Yep.
And Quartararo said after the race, I was ready to attack Pecco
yep.
on the last sector of the race, as sector 4.
Mm-hmm.
He said, but when I saw how Pecco did sector 3, I said to myself, give up, because today you are not going to win.
Yep.
So it was a very mental race, mental race. And for Quartararo, it's the typical second place that gives you a championship.
Absolutely. I wasn't a huge fan last year, but he's riding like an absolute champion this year.
Yeah.
The person that surprised me, and I think partway through the race when they started, the commentators were getting very excited about Bastianini. And I think I was actually talking to the TV, like, settle down. He's way back. Don't get too excited. And he just got faster and faster. And I'm dumbfounded that he got third. Like,
yeah. Look, but it's another one who is growing, because in the previous race, he did position 6. So in this third.
Yep.
And I think, if I am not wrong, he started from far back, and then...
Yeah, so I've got it on my notes somewhere. You should see my notes. I've got bits. That's from
it's the whole. It looks like a Bible.
It's pretty much. I read this when I go to sleep at night. I do have a reading, but yeah, he started. I can't remember where he started, but yeah, he was back a fair way.
He started. Yeah, he started back, and he came, and he was so excited, because after the race he said, "Look, I overtook on the brakes, Rins, Mir, Miller, Marquez." So he said, and every time I overtook one of these, I was like feeling myself bigger, yes,
Absolutely, because he's
and
new.
Then, and then after the race, also Marquez, he was asked about Bastianini. And Mark said, look, when he overtook me, I said, okay, now I'm stay behind and he will push me up to the front. He said, after 3 or 4 turns, I said, not today.
I let him go.
Let him go. And so the 3 big names in this race were Pecco, because he won his second Grand Prix, because he showed that he knows how to handle the pressure. Then Fabio, he raced like a real champion. A real champion is not satisfied with doing second, which he could have done easy. When he overtook Jack, again, he was 2.7 behind Pecco. So he had just to cruise to arrive there. But he fought for it. So
one more lap, it could have been a completely different outcome.
Yeah. So chapeau for Fabio. I think there are still 100 points to be given out, and his advantage is 43 points.
Yeah, exactly.
So the only chance for Pecco is that he has some DNF in one race, and Pecco wins all the rest. So it's pretty difficult. But I think Quartararo will be a more than deserved champion this year.
Yep. So DNFs, Rins was doing pretty well. I was thinking of Stu. Oh, bloody hell. Why can't he stay on? What is he doing?
I don't know. He needs a control, because it looks like, because he's fast.
Yeah.
He's fast, but it seems like it's like a kid, when a kid starts, and then he crashes.
Is it a mental? Because he's doing some really good maneuvers and attacking and taking them and fast, and then he just...
And every crash is I would say 90% of the crashes is an error of the rider.
Yeah. Yep.
Because a rider, if he crashes, he has done a mistake. Unless it's a technical issue, but this is the less of the time.
It's not
no, because if it were so, he would have had how many 6 technical issues this season.
Exactly,
already?
his bike needs some work.
So,
my goodness.
And he did that. Look, the mental strength in racing, for example, the complete opposite is Marc Marquez. Look, I have to say that I admire Mark to the maximum.
Mm-hmm.
We can see clearly that his shoulder is not working. Yep. This is so clear, you know. He crashed again twice during the weekend.
And you, Manuel, have helped with that. And for our listeners as well, you know, I'm trying to learn through conversations with you and that just to observe the way they move. So I think a couple of weeks ago, Mark went to pick up his bike, and instead of lifting a certain way, he did it. You can sit and start to pick up these little things, go, yeah, you are really hurting.
Yeah. And in fact, in the Sunday warm-up, he just did 1 or 2 laps because he was saving his shoulder for the race.
Yeah. Yep.
And then, but look, with Mark, what is incredible is that with all these issues in the race, he goes for everything.
Oh, that mental strength that
he has to overcome. That's it.
Yeah.
He finished at the feet of the podium. He finished 4th.
Yeah.
With a shoulder that is completely destroyed. In fact, in yesterday's test in Misano, he had to stop because his shoulder just didn't work anymore.
I was going to ask you if they're saying very much.
Yeah, because in this case, Marquez, he says, and he admits that after each race, he needs 2 or 3 days of complete doing nothing to recover his shoulder. And as this race was a back-to-back race,
he couldn't.
He couldn't, but it's amazing. It's amazing how mentally he can overcome this situation, you know?
And he's up there. He's up like last week battling with Pecco and then coming 4th this week. He's definitely.
Yeah, let me tell you an anecdote. In one of the last crashes, a friend of mine was at the trackside and he was just at the point where Marquez crashed. So he rode on the scooter, Mark back to the pits. And Mark just was telling to him, look, I am fed up with this. My shoulder hurts a lot. I am fed up with the bike. But then when he appears in front of the media, you don't see him complain.
No.
You understand? So he is as fed up as we think he should be. But then he never shows to his rivals his weak points.
Yep.
By no complaining, he shows that he accepts the cards that has been given to him, and he plays with this card because, you know, and these many riders don't apply this philosophy because when you get a certain situation, what's the point to be complaining?
Yeah.
You have
either give it everything or go.
Yeah, no, you deal with what you have because if you hear yourself complaining, then you reinforce your weakness. You say, yeah, poor me.
Yep.
You know, but Market never does this.
And it is, you can't help but respect that because he could just go, done, it's not working, or blame something else or blame the bike, but he's just
and there is another important thing that people should understand and take note. Look, MotoGP is the mother of all problems because the concept of MotoGP by itself is a problem because in MotoGP it's you try to push to the limit what you have,
your body, the machine, everything.
The machine, and then when you push to the limit, immediately you get into problems. You understand?
You got to come all the way up to that line and stop before.
Yeah, no, and MotoGP is basically get to the problem, solve the problem, and this is what makes you grow. But if you have a problem and start to complain and you don't, instead of complain, solve the problem.
Yeah. Yep.
Or handle the problem or manage the problem. You know, but complaining doesn't solve anything. It doesn't give you anything.
We've seen that with Maverick a little bit, haven't we? It's about
with Maverick, and now with, for example, I was a little bit disappointed with Mir because he starts to complain. Mir, don't complain. You know, look how Mark handled this. Okay, you have what you
like
have.
A champion, and
exactly. You know, complain in-house, but don't make it public or don't show it.
Yes, like you said with Mark, do it in a private, but yeah.
Have you ever heard, look, when Mark complains about his bike, it's always very soft, you know, so it's always in a positive way. Probably then he shoots in the garage and yells and whatever.
Which is fine, because it's not in the public or for other people to see. Yeah.
This is very important. And regarding Suzuki, I have to say that, well, Mir was super disappointed after the race. He said, it's hard for me to admit that I have lost my chances, which are there. And then I have to say that, then he says, it's hard to admit because I am a better rider than last year. I do many less mistakes. I am faster. But even so, I have lost the championship. And in this case, I have to say that the one to blame about this is basically Suzuki. Suzuki, in my opinion, is at this point, if you think, the slowest bike of the grid.
Yeah.
You know, because they are winning with Yamaha. The Ducati is the best bike. Well, no, not the slowest, you know, technically the less developed bike.
That's what I was about to ask you. What is the difference between last year and this year compared to the other bikes?
For example, look, like you know that famous issue that lowers the bike when in acceleration.
Yep, the whole shot.
The Ducati has this system since 2 seasons. Suzuki are still trying to develop the system. You know, these are the things.
They have it, right? And they're...
Yeah, but they have it, but the others are super accurate working.
Yeah.
And Suzuki still trying, because I spoke with the riders and they told me, for example, when the bike lowers, it can be in the Suzuki, it just bang, comes back strongly. Yeah. And this obviously destabilize the bike.
Because I've noticed, I can when I watch, you can see it really. It stands out when the Suzuki does it, where I have to really look for it on the other bikes.
Yeah, the other one, for example, the Ducati is the reference. No, the Ducati goes soft down.
Yeah, the Suzuki
so it doesn't affect the riding.
Yeah,
and there is another thing. It seems that these systems are pretty heavy, and if you have this system, then this extra weight makes that your braking reference change, because you have more weight,
of course,
to stop.
Yep. And I guess the Ducati have had this for a while, and it's new for Suzuki, so that also impacts.
Exactly. In fact, there are circuits where the Suzuki take this system off to have a better braking,
depending on the track. If there's not a okay, yep. Wow.
So that's basically. Then we have to talk about, and in Misano, it's funny because the names that were attracting people and the fans to that race did so bad. Names like Andrea Dovizioso, who finished last.
Yep.
Morbidelli, who finished third last or something like this.
How's his fitness? Is he pretty much fit?
Morbidelli.
Yeah, it was just new on that bike. Is that
no, Morbidelli, his knee. And when somebody is out, look, what we have seen this weekend, once again, is when somebody misses some races or even half a season, it's impossible to come back and be fast.
Competitive, of course. Yeah.
It has happened, Andra, with Dovizioso, with Morbidelli, with Viñales. Everyone expected, no, Viñales may win this race. Have a look how he finished.
Yeah.
You know, there are no miracles.
Yeah.
The same way is that Valentino, you know, Valentino is, I imagine that he is thinking, please, let the season finish, because he simply is not there anymore.
Yep. And I don't know if we can, I can't remember, you sent me that clip the other day. Was that from the press release?
Which click?
Mir, and he said if I spend 1 year not competing for the championship, that's it, I'm out.
Oh yeah. Look, no, Mir has, in my opinion, I think we can do a special podcast talking about why did Suzuki lose the championship. It's pretty interesting because there were a certain how can I tell you, some facts, certain facts that it's very clear why they lost the championship. And the first of all, or maybe the two first of all, were one, the manager left. Remember that Davide Brivio
yes, of course, and they've never replaced him.
It's like a ship without a captain.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and the second is hang on, which was the second? The ship. Well, I don't remember. The Alzheimer just knocked on my door. So it's very clear from that point when a captain, a ship has no captain, then
absolutely someone's got to time together. It's you can.
Yeah, it looks like, no, it doesn't matter. We will handle this. No, because when it comes to a point to take some decisions, to be really harsh on some decision, then there must be one who takes decision, not a group of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know this very well about the boats, no?
You do. You need that strong leadership too. You need that. Absolutely. Someone to look to. Otherwise, they'll be a bit all over the place, which is obvious. So were there any other standouts in the race that we need to talk about?
No. The only thing I want to say is that 25,000 people, 50% of the circuit was allowed to get in. Obviously, it was a complete Valentino Rossi. Everyone was in yellow.
I saw there was a clip of a little boy meeting Marquez, his like biggest fan. It was all over social media, but the little kid's name was Valentino, and the mum had VR46 all over her, and the little boy had his.
Look, I went with my youngest son to Misano.
Yes.
For him was the first Grand Prix, and obviously we went to Tabulia, which is Valentino's village. We ate a pizza at Valentino's pizzeria, and obviously he bought the cap, the t-shirt, the umbrella, and on his grandstand, who was huge, only 2 people were not in yellow. Out of 500, 600.
Yes.
It's incredible. It was amazing. And, you know, and the people don't care Valentino doing last or second.
I was just going to say, next year when he's not racing, I predict that it'll be the same. People, it's still going to be a sea of yellow. It's going to take a long time for people
that's a good, it's good. It's a good point. I will be curious to see this.
I think they will.
In a month, we are returning to Misano for the second race there. And there it will be real the goodbye of Valentino in Italy. So it will be huge. It will be huge again. But nobody should expect a result of Valentino. No. A goodbye result, you know.
No,
I think we spoke about it. Yeah, I think we spoke about this. Look, what Valentino doesn't want is to get hurt now.
Absolutely. He's got to be a daddy. He's got to be able to chase that baby around.
Yeah, look, and the detail of painting his helmet.
Yeah.
You know, his helmet with thinking in the girl that is coming means that he's not in the race anymore.
And I love that. I think they covered it on TV. Actually, it goes from last year with a Viagra tablet to this year there's a baby. So it's good. It's great that the Viagra worked for him.
Very good.
So can you tell us anything about the testing? I have seen bits and pieces pop up. There was a couple of different.
Yeah, the testing, basically the big news are in Honda.
Yep.
They have showed the new bike, and the bike is kind of, the bike is kind of mixed between Yamaha and the Ducati. Look, the back part, the seat, is, you can say that's a copy of the Ducati.
Okay.
The exhaust has changed, so they can do a bigger seat. The front looks like a Yamaha.
Yep.
So it's important because Honda uses the word concept. That means that the bike is completely different. You know, they may have start from scratch. now they have to work on the bike, and we will see. The bike has to change, and doesn't mean that it will work. They are trying something new. Now we have to see.
Which you got to, right? You got to give it a go and see.
Yeah, regarding the rest, they're basically we're working with aerodynamics, new wings, and this and that. And then what I want to underline to finish is, remember that the engines have been frozen for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? So in 2022, all the engineers, they will be able to put on track something they have been working for 2 years. So it will be very interesting, because to see, imagine, for example, in the case of Suzuki, right? Suzuki Mir said, well, I am happy because the engine is more powerful. Yes, all engine will be more powerful. The key is to be at the level, for example, how much powerful will the Honda engine be? If the Suzuki engine is a little bit more powerful and doesn't level the increase of the other brands. So it's very interesting. Fabio, for example, said that, okay, the new engine looked more powerful, but he expected more. Meaning that, so Yamaha has already to work in more power.
So each year when we have this development, obviously we know historically everything gets faster and better. How is it a very, very gradual improvement each year? Or, because I think we've spoken about before about Valentino is pretty much riding the same times he was a year or two ago. It's just that all the bikes have got quicker.
Yeah.
Is it a very significant increase? Because I haven't seen any, the development freeze has been on since I've been involved in this. So do we see a second faster next year?
No, a second faster is like
nothing.
No.
So it's quite a big jump in the development, or
look, 1 lap faster, it will be 1/10, 2/10 maximum. The thing is how much it takes to do the same number of laps.
Of course.
If they can be, how fast they can be in 27 laps in the case of Misano. That's the point. And how the bike is going to wear the tires and all this stuff.
And I guess you improve the engine, then the tires are going to get worn more. You've got your
exactly that's it. Stronger engine, you have to adapt the electronics to make it more rideable. And then you have to stronger engine is worse for the tires.
And like you said, then the whole shot of device that's a bit heavier and whatever else they add on.
And look, we come back to the point. MotoGP is the mother of all problems. You put yourself in a problem and solve the problem. When you solve the problem, you automatically get in another problem. It's always this.
How beautiful is it though? Because I love that you have, and people that I talk to, I'm like, I've been wearing my motorbike mask, so I get a lot of conversation with people. And you've got people that go, nah, I just watch the race. And then you've got your people that go, no, I want more. They watch all the free practice and qualifying. You've got the people that look into the technical side. Like, it's such a broad, exciting, with a little bit of what anybody might want. You can get into it as much as you like.
But Andra, it's like in all sports, in football, in cricket, there are the ones who just look at what is happening, and the others who like to read, to
look
understand.
At the draft and find out what's happening. True. So no, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So also at testing, we did see that Remy and Raul got to have their first taste on the
those two will have a strong championship end. They're gonna
I can't decide between them or the Petronas team, whatever's happening with that. I don't know. I'm very excited.
We will see. Obviously, I like very much Remy because we know him and somehow we are close to him. But at the other side, Raul is such a young talent,
Yeah, I saw something the other day. It was like, it says Raul Fernandez is the first rookie since Marc Marquez in 2011 to win 6 races in Moto2. He's just great.
Yeah, but then we are all a little bit Gardner fans.
Of course we are.
Claro.
It's just exciting. So we got America I'm quite surprised that it's going ahead with with COVID's kind of taken off in America quite badly. I'm very surprised that it's all still.
Yeah, I heard that they finally do it because they had already sent material there. You know, they could not.
Are they going to have
go
spectators
back,
or will it be a bubble?
Yeah, no, spectators there. That weekend, there will be a super music show with 50,000 people sold out.
Aren't they rampant with COVID people at the moment?
Yeah, no, in Texas, you know, it's the heart of the anti-vaccine people.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, lucky everyone in the paddock's vaccinated.
Everyone in the paddock is vaccinated.
Did Zarco end up having his needle?
Probably, because if not, they would. Yeah. And the recommendation of the organizer is to stay in a bubble, basically not leave the hotel.
Yeah.
Hotel, circuit, hotel, which will not happen.
Like we've said in the past, there was like little paella parties and bits going on. As long as they're together, maybe it'll be okay.
We will see. But in a month, we are back in Italy, and then there are 4 races to go. The championship in MotoGP is more or less decided. The championship in Moto2 is super open. And in Moto3, Acosta seems to he's losing strength, you know, like a balloon that is losing the air.
Do you think he got a bit of, he thought he had it? I've actually put money on Garcia to win the championship for Moto3.
Oh, yeah. We will see. It will be very interesting. And they are all going to a circuit, which they don't know. So it will be pretty interesting.
It's going to be good. Just going back to Moto2 with Raul and Remy, I'm really, I'm struggling who to go for. Yeah,
me too. Let's see.
It's hard.
See.
So,
look, I tell you something. Despite being Spaniard, I would like Remy to win.
Yep.
Because it's a long time since an Aussie doesn't win a championship, and probably this would be a big boost for the sport down under where you are. Yes,
absolutely. And because we're going to have Australian Superbike rider Daniel Falzon in the next couple of weeks as well. So just, we've had discussions around Australia and people. Yeah, that's support, and there's some diehard fans definitely, but we don't have too much of a following. So we've also got Joel Kelso that's going into Moto3 next year.
Joe Kelso, yes, he won. Hang on, he won the European Championship here in Misano. He won the race. He's doing strong. He's doing very well.
So that's another Aussie that we're going to be able to support. And I was talking to the boys, they were saying that, that whole, like we've spoken about other families where they make a decision to go, you know what, let's go to Europe and see how it plays out. So
it's a big bet that sometimes works and sometimes just ruins the family.
Yep. So just quickly, Manuel, are there any other seats going to be announced? I know we've still got a couple of gaps waiting to see who's taking.
I don't know, because in MotoGP everything is settled, isn't it?
Is it? Yeah. What about the Petronas?
The Petronas is clear. It will be Andrea Dovizioso and Darren Binder.
Who is it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be announced. Look, it was supposed to be announced last week, but there is such a mess inside the team that the sponsor, which has said to them, okay, you solve your problems and then we make the announcement.
No. Big
mess, but really, someone has been stabbed in the back by the other one. Yeah. It has been one of these.
That's quite surprising, because I think we spoke earlier in the year how close and tight that team was, like it was unbreakable.
That is short, like the Americans say, follow the money, and it shows you where to look at.
There's going to be some heartbreak out of that, isn't there?
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
I think it's enough for today.
I think so. It's very quiet without Stu, though, isn't it?
Yeah. But he will be back soon.
He will. So everyone jump on Instagram. We're on Twitter a little bit. Drop us messages still. We did promise last time we were going to pick a comment for a mask, but Stu's the boss of that. planned. So we'll get onto that next episode. But yeah, please keep messaging everyone. We love it. Love the interaction. And yes, off to America.
Texas, Austin.
Off to Texas. We're gonna have to get a big hat and get the cowboy boots out for next time. So yeah, we'll be back next week anyway. Hopefully with Stu. Everyone take care of yourselves. Manuel, stay safe in Spain. And we'll see you next week.
Adios.